If you could survive nuns, you can survive anything in this world.
See my bed and bougie. She wanna drink on Tuesday. The shawty sipping on a Bombay. A long way from cooler. See my bed and bougie. She wanna drink on Tuesday.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel. It's Kay here. For today's video, we are going to be talking about my high school experience. Well, the parts I remember, because quite frankly, when I left that school, I decided to block out majority of what happened from my memory because I just didn't want to think about it. So whatever I do remember, we're going to be discussing today. If you went to a Zambian high school like mine and you can relate to any of the stuff I'm going to talk about, please don't forget to leave a comment. I'd love to discuss things with you. Alright, let's jump right into it. I graduated high school in 2019. I went to a school that many people know. I'm not going to name it because if I name it, that will just cause bigger issues if by any chance it ends up in their hands, which I mean, I don't expect it to reach them, but you know what I mean, like just in case. I'm not going to say the school, but if you want to know, and if you are deep into researching or stalking the way I am, you will most likely know, or you'll do your research. Look at my old videos, people who know me, and you'll find out. So let's begin with how I didn't even want to go to this school to begin. It was one of those things. So when I was writing my grade 7 exams, my dad put down another school similar to that one, but it was just another school when my mom wanted him to put that one down, but he didn't. So my automatic entry point was the other school. My results came out, but I didn't want to go. It was a boarding school, so it was more like my school but in boarding form, and like that would just be hell. So no. So my mom went to the school and found that they still had some places, so I wrote entrance exams. Literally, I got into my sister's school. I was meant to go there, but quite frankly, the school I ended up going to has better academic standards than my sister's school. No tea, no shade, it's just the truth. So my mom was obviously pushing for me to go to this one more than my sister's school. But I wanted to go to my sister's school obviously because, well, I knew it was a little more laid back and why not? So I think this was on a Friday or Saturday. My mom wasn't even in the country. I was just home with my dad, got a call, and they said that on Monday we had tests for entrance exams to the school I ended up going to. Wrote my tests, I passed them, got into the school, and next thing I know, I'm there. Yippee-yay, kaya. Not really. Personally, I hated going to school every day. I hated it, and like, I lived somewhat close to the school, so there was that, so it was literally like, ugh. Every time I'd reach like the corner of the school, my stomach would start doing knots. But just as well, my mom would like take me all the way in. She wouldn't really leave me at the gate unless I was running really late, which was majority of the time, to be honest. My stomach would just be doing flips, y'all. Ugh. So let's fast forward to when I was in about the 10th grade or something like that. Maybe 10th, 11th grade, somewhere there. At this point, I absolutely hated being there. Like, I wanted no parts of it. I think that was also when I was going through my depression phase. It wasn't really a phase, I was actually depressed. And I was just like mentally not there. I think this started like end of 9th grade or mid 9th grade into like 10th grade and 11th. I just had so many mental issues. And the school did not help. No, it did not. I would also like to add about how, you know, how mental health and like such things are not really taken seriously in the African setup, or if you have like black parents, you just know they're like, so you know what I mean? But luckily for me, my mom understood that I was mentally not there. So in the 10th grade, I began more or less running away from school. It wasn't really running away. No, it was running away. I think I said in another video, I think it was the one with Slice of Life, that I've never cut class. Because yes, I didn't cut class, but I would leave school. So on Fridays, normally, like, we wouldn't do much in the afternoon. It would be either sports or something else. So I devised a plan. I had this friend I was really close to at the time. She's more like, we don't really talk now, but anyways, at the time we were like this. We were tied to each other. And my neighbor as well. She went to not my school but the school next to my school, because there's 2 schools in the complex where my yard is. On Fridays, they would come to my classroom. I would leave my bag like outside or something. They'd pick up my bag and they'd like leave the school boundaries because they were allowed to. Their school ended at 1 p.m. on Fridays, whereas for me, I was literally there until 4 p.m. every single day. Even though my classes did end at 4 p.m. every day, I was there until 4, and I didn't want that. I was just like, ugh, I don't even want to be here right now, let me just leave. They'd take my bag and then I'd meet them at the back of the school and literally walk out the gate. I don't know how I was never caught, because on Fridays, literally ask any of my classmates, you would not catch me slipping being at school on a Friday in the afternoon. That was jokes. Me at school on a Friday? No, 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 no. But I stopped that behavior in the 12th grade because obviously I had tuitions and I had a bunch of other stuff. Now the story became when I come home, yeah? So I used to walk home from school, so they wouldn't really keep tabs on me anyways. So when I get home, I'd literally just enter the gate. It's just I'd use the way that most people wouldn't see me if I enter. So I'd like use the door that's closest to my bedroom, and I'd just stay in my room until it was time for me to knock off from school, and I'd be like, what's an acceptable time? Yeah, okay, let's say it takes me 15-20 minutes on the regular to get back here. So that's when I'd resurface. My dad's probably gonna watch this and be like, but sir, you did not listen to my concerns. I had to do what I had to do. And you may be wondering, why would she leave on Fridays? So Fridays, again, as I said, the other people used to knock off earlier than us, and we had sports. But the sports ended after a while because the land that my school is on, I think it like belongs to the archdiocese. I don't even know the story. Anyways, basically part of my school's land became a mall you probably go to now. So we didn't have sports for a good like 2 years, it should have been. So I found no reason for me to be there on a Friday prepping when I didn't even want to be there. On my running away chronicles, there's this once actually I bumped into one of my teachers, but he was like a cool teacher. He's like friends with my mom sort of because of church. Anyways, so luckily for me that day I had a written letter from my mom, but it wasn't even a recent one, it was like an old one. Because here's the thing, my mom, that's my OG, love her more than anything. My mom, she's my ace. She understood me that I was mentally not there. So sometimes if I like didn't want to be at school on a Friday, or for whatever reason, if I needed a mental health afternoon or day, of course I'm not sure if I'd put it like that, but I probably would. My mom gets me. So she would write a letter talking about I have a dentist appointment, or I have a something, or I have insert reason here, or we're going da 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 da. She just always writes something. So I kept majority of these letters in like a folder in my bag, and the thing is she'd write the date on each of them, but if you fold it the right way it wouldn't show. He's like, like, why are you? And I was like, oh, here. And then he's like, oh, okay, be on your way. And I dipped. Oh yeah, that leads me to my next point, which I've already spoken about really. So how like my mom would write a letter to get me out of sports day. I think I only attended one sports day at that school, and from then on I did not. The rest of my 4 years there I did not attend a single sports day. I didn't want to be a part of it. My mom wrote a letter to exempt me from it, although they were punishing people who like didn't show up for sports day, but honey boo boo cha, I was not about to do that. So I had my letter exempting me. Let's talk about the time we had to report for school. We had to be at school by 7:10 every single day, right? Child, I did not respect that one bit. I swear I could count probably on my hands the amount of times I was actually at school on time, because I served so many punishments throughout the years. But then again, on the punishments, at times my mom would write a letter because sometimes it was her fault. It really was. I think the letters ranged from car issues to it was just always something. Now, again, I always had those letters in my bag, so sometimes if I just didn't feel like dealing with annoying prefects or whatever, I just pull out a letter and be like, I'm not dealing with this today. And here's the thing with a lie. If you sell it with the right face, you are good. So literally, if you show up to school at 7-Eleven or something, you'll be met with prefects to book you. So at lunch, you'll go and like the punishments range from sweeping their classrooms, the hallways, shining or something. Or if the prefects are feeling extra spicy, don't worry about it, sweetheart. They would take you to the garden. I think, did I ever do that? I think I did, but not really properly. They'll tell you like water the grass and till. Let me tell you, I didn't even live that far from the school, yet I was always late. It was quite amazing actually. But I think that's the reason, because you know when you're like close to something, you feel so lazy to like be on time. You're like, I'll get there. When I was in the 10th or 11th grade, they brought a system into place. It was basically like if you were late to school, I think twice in a week or something, on Friday you'd get booked to go with the deputy head teacher to the garden and like either rake leaves or I don't know, just do yard work around the school. So of course I was literally there every other week. One of the like most annoying rules I found personally was the rule about having to take our braids out every Friday. So first of all, we couldn't have braids or like even like black braids and mukule. None of that. No cotton in the hair. None of that. We had to have natural hair. If you want to braid your hair, just your natural hair braided. Nothing inside it. Nah. So on Fridays, we would have to take out the braids or anything and like comb it out and tie it or whatever. I just found that really tedious because it's like I'd get such cute braids on a Sunday or on a Friday after school. I'd be like, do I really have to take these out? So sometimes I would just not show up to school on Friday so I could keep the hair an extra week because it was just so annoying. Let's also discuss how there were just some punishments that were so silly. Like we would get into trouble for things that didn't even make sense most of the time. I remember in the 11th grade we had midterm tests, and basically our midterms, I think this is midterms everywhere, our midterms are out of 25, right? So I think I got 23 out of 25, and that was in math. Math was not really my strong suit anyways, and to get that grade I was like, oh my gosh, yes queen. But majority of the class got 24 and 25, like basically higher. So I remember my math teacher had us on punishment. I think we were punished that day, and I think it extended to the next day or the next 2 days, something like that, for getting, what even is 23 out of 25? Wait a minute. 23 divided by 25. 92%? Are you kidding me? I didn't even know. Oh my god! Wow! Also, if you were walking in the school, we had a keep left rule. So if you even stepped out of line of the left, if you were like in the presence of either prefects or head teacher, deputy head, whatever, they'd tell you to squat right where you are. Squat. It doesn't matter if you're swerving someone or something, they'll tell you squat. And like the prefects I found when I was at that school were like, I think the worst crop, because I don't know, I feel like they said they had it harder, so I just cannot imagine the prefects they found, because the prefects we found were quite interesting. So when we became prefects in grade 12, and like the kids would complain, would be like, we are so nice, like you don't even know the half. We didn't do half of the crazy literally that we found these people doing. There were also punishments for not grading properly. So like obviously a teacher walks in, a prefect walks in, anyone older walks in, protocol would be stand up or grade, good morning, da, da. It literally sounds like a damn song. Anyways, we do that all the time, but then obviously like everyone's doing it, so sometimes it's gonna sound messy or some people are just not in the mood, and then you can find a situation where you're all booked. So yeah, there was that. I absolutely just hated being at school 99% of the time. My goal when I'd show up each day would be to leave. I did not really want to stick around for nothing, for nobody. If you've watched my getting locked in school story time video, that's why I was so suspicious like when I didn't show up at home, because they knew my goal at the end of the day was to get home because I hated being there. Also, let's talk about how my school had very toxic academics, if that makes sense. So it is it's a school that's known for like excellent grades and results, but at what cost? You know what I mean? I'll tell you the cost of my mental health. It's like the creme de la creme of smart kids go there, right? So the standards, first of all, your playing field is already not average. Now the thing is, like, I say toxic because the way they'd push the good grades onto you was not in a kind manner. Like, if you went there, you know what I mean, you'd feel like you failed at life if you got, like when I was in grade 10 to 12, if you got 7 points at end of term, or 8, 9, 10, you feel like a failure, like you don't even know what your life is.
This is so humiliating!
And when I was in grade 8 and 9, my class particularly, okay, from grade 8 to 12, I was just in the class that had like the most trouble. Mainly, I think it's because in grades 10 to 12, a good chunk of the people who were in my 8 to 9 class were in that class, you know what I mean? So it's like we carried the trouble into 10 to 12, as well as like people from other classes as well. So it was just a mixture of trouble in a way, so we were always getting into mischief. What even was I talking about? I literally do not remember what I was talking about. Like, my train of thought gone. Oh, I was talking about toxic academics. Okay. It's just like the good grades were a good thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm really proud of like the grades I ended up graduating with, because obviously if they didn't push me, I wasn't going to get those grades. But then it's also in the pushing me that I did not care for life afterwards, if that makes sense. I don't know. I just feel like it was always academics being shoved down my throat, and like nothing else really. Like, we didn't have sports for a good amount of time. I think we only had it for like a little bit at the end. And just no, if you don't get, for us it was 6 points, if you don't get 6 points, then like you are nothing. Like, what are you gonna do in society? Which, I mean, it doesn't matter. Kutuwalia 6 points, but when you go into uni, you just get shown flames. I personally got shown flames in A-levels. That 6 points did not follow me to A-levels, not one bit. It's just like, it was very toxic in that way. And you could tell it was like programmed in our minds. So even if like you hear someone's results and they're not like 11111 or something like that, you like subconsciously, you'd be like, oh. But then you realize that they didn't fail. Neither did you fail. It's just like, we were programmed to think that it was failing and that it meant we were nothing. To a certain extent, like when people are like, oh my god, congrats on your results, I'm like, oh, thank you. But then in my head, I'm like, the emotional manipulation it took to get this was insane. So there's that. I don't know, there's just so many stories and stuff I have from high school, and I'm sure my friends have stories as well. So if you'd like to hear some more high school drama and all the fun, not really fun stuff, please don't forget to like this video and leave your stories in the comment section down below. Do you understand what I'm saying about some things? Get it, get it, get it? Alright, see you guys next time. Bye!
Came in and I took your shot, it like a robbery. I was on my bullet train, nigga, ain't no stopping me. She said if it's meant to be, then yeah, it's gonna be.
Yemba, I'm filming. I'm filming. I'm filming. I meant the music.